December 2018, CROSSFIRE Stars begins a new fight. CFS 2018 will gather 24 top teams from 11 regions around the world in Taitung and Nanjing, China for Project S. December 4th to 6th, the group stage matches, the tournament stage quarterfinals, and semifinals will take place in Taitung. December the 8th, event matches for CROSSFIRE HD featuring top teams will be awaiting in Nanjing. December the 9th, the CROSSFIRE Legends tournament along with the CROSSFIRE final matches will determine the CFS 2018 World Champions. Guns are locked and loaded, and players are ready for an intense clash. CROSSFIRE Stars 2018, together in Taitung and Nanjing, China. Together, roaring with enthusiasm inside the arena of battle. Together, making history to become the true legend of CROSSFIRE.
I'm Jonathan XMSX Holland. I'm from North America on the team Carbon, and I've been playing professionally for 5 years, since 2013, and my position on the team is team captain.
I'm Flitch. I'm from Colombia. I have been playing CROSSFIRE like 8 years ago. In the team, I have the role to manage my team, and I'm attacker too.
Hi. Oi, meu nome é Daniel, eu jogo profissional há 2 anos, sou suporte da Black Dragons e estou representando o Brasil.
How I started playing back in 2013 professionally was pretty funny, because I was playing with a group of my friends at first, and we were just playing in the Pro League, and we weren't expecting to win, we were just having fun. And I was just dominating everybody. So the #1 team back then was Carbon, actually, and they were just looking at me and they were like, wow, this guy has, you know, the best, I don't know, stats, statistics in the Pro League, and we're looking for one. We want to make sure that we secure the CROSSFIRE Stars spot for that year, the #1 place in North America for CROSSFIRE Stars. And so they picked me up in order to secure that.
I knew about this game in 2012 because all my friends played that. So also I want to play that, and that's my favorite game since 8 years ago. At the beginning, this game was a hobby, but later I want to be a professional. That's why you have to be dedicated and disciplined and love for play this game, and meet a lot of people who is good in the game, because I learn a lot of things about other people too.
A coisa mais louca que eu fiz foi quando, há 2 anos atrás, eu decidi sair do quartel, que era uma vida que eu podia seguir carreira militar, e era uma certeza na minha vida para poder me dedicar ao CROSSFIRE. Eu servi ao Exército Brasileiro, aí eu saí do Exército para jogar CROSSFIRE profissional. No Brasil a gente tem um campeonato que se chama Liga de Acesso. Quando você vence, você se torna um profissional, começa a jogar com os times mais fortes. E no final de 2016 eu joguei esse campeonato junto com o Viana, atual capitão da Black Dragons, e a gente conseguiu vencer, e foi aí que eu comecei minha jornada como profissional.
At the beginning, when I started to play, my mom was disagreed because I played CROSSFIRE. But later, when I started to travel, to win, to increase my popularity in this game, she's agreed now. Yes, and she's very happy because I play CROSSFIRE.
Foi uma decisão muito difícil, porque na época eu fazia faculdade e eu pagava a faculdade com dinheiro do Exército. Então meio que foi um choque para eles, mas eu tinha confiança em mim mesmo, que tudo ia dar certo, e eu batalhei pelo meu sonho, e graças a Deus, desde então eu tenho conseguido bons frutos dessa decisão.
So even back when I dropped out of college in 2013, my mother, because I only have my father's out of the picture, so my mother, she was still supportive of me, but she wasn't too happy that I did that, you know, but she was still supportive. She said, you know, you go do what you want to do, and if it doesn't work out, you come back and you go to college. So I would say 2 things that CROSSFIRE has really done for me that I appreciate. #1 is it's satisfied my competitive spirit, where I've always enjoyed just competing and trying to be the best in something, and CROSSFIRE has done that for me, and I love it. And the #2 thing is I've always loved to perform for people and you know, impress people and gain fans and things like this, just be popular. It's always something that makes me happy. And so I love all my fans.
The most important skills in the game are communication, good accuracy, work team. That's it. If my team have it, we can win all this time.
Eu acho que o CROSSFIRE me deu muita coisa, porque eu fiz 21 anos já e eu não esperava que eu pudesse viver tanta coisa que o CROSSFIRE me trouxe. Como, por exemplo, conhecer a China, morar na China, conhecer outros países do mundo e conhecer pessoas novas também. Então, acho que eu sou muito grato a Deus por ter conhecido o CROSSFIRE e por estar onde eu estou hoje.
I'm very thankful with this game because it gave me the opportunity to know new friends, to meet new places, and completely changed my life. Thank you for.
Eu queria agradecer ao jogo por tudo que me proporcionou e dizer parabéns. Apesar do jogo estar há muito tempo, o jogo sempre foi muito bom e eu espero sempre que continue melhorando.
Thank you for providing me the opportunity to go on all these trips. I love coming to China, and I love playing at these tournaments, and it means the world to me. And also thank you to CROSSFIRE for providing so much fun for me and my friends. There's so many things for us to do. We have late nights, laughing, eating good food, drinking, playing some CROSSFIRE. It's been great. Thank you, CROSSFIRE.
Hello and welcome back to day number 2 here at CFS 2018. We're heading into the last of our lower bracket round number 1 games. It is Penta up against Pacific Wara. And Kyle, yesterday, Penta had a very difficult start to their CFS 2018 campaign, going up against one of the best teams in the world, and they came so very close. Coming to this lower bracket game, surely we're all thinking they're going to be the ones coming through. Am I right? Am I wrong?
I think you're definitely right here. I think Penta, they had a lot of opportunities to really win that game against SV. They just fell slightly short.
Yeah.
Whereas Pacific, they looked noticeably weak at a lot of points in their match. Whereas Penta, I think I just saw a lot more potential out of them. And going into this one, I think they have what it takes to definitely make this happen.
Well, your feelings blue from the games we saw from the yesterday.
Yeah, Penta coming so close to being able to take down the previous world champions
Yeah.
and remaining relatively strong performer throughout yesterday's entire performance. I'm feeling similar. I'm leaning more so that they're going to be the favorites going into this matchup.
Yeah, Pacific Wara on the flip side, they're up against INTZ from Brazil, who, to be fair, have actually been playing pretty well across the last 2 days. But what we saw from the team from the Philippines certainly wasn't of the same standard as what we saw from Penta. So unless something's changed dramatically overnight, it's going to be a difficult campaign here for Pacific Wara.
Yeah, I definitely think so, and I think Penta's historically been very strong on port as well, so it's really going to be a tough one for Pacific to come out on top of, I think, and with all the issues we saw from them in their previous match, I just don't see this one happening for them today.
What do we see out of the Penta lineup yesterday? If you go through and you have a look at their stats and how they played, most of the players actually seem to be performing quite well. Maybe they just weren't strong enough in the end.
I think for me, everyone was playing pretty well with the exception of Niels. He had, I think, 4 frags on the entirety of that match against SV, but the rest of his team played quite well. So if I think someone has to step up for this win to happen, it's Niels here. Everybody else played quite well on Penta, and he was really the one that sort of set them back from, I think, conquering SV in their first match. And in order to win here, everyone has to be playing as well as they can here in Pacific. They're not necessarily an easy team, but I think they should feel easier than SV did to Penta.
Well, no teams really should be an easy team when you're talking about the best CROSSFIRE teams in the world. But when you put them all together, obviously some teams stand out above the rest. What is the story about this Penta team? What is their background? Obviously, we see them regularly. Are they getting the results, though, that we would be expecting from them?
I think Penta probably expected to win that first game, but overall, I mean, this roster emerged from both the best players of the old Flipside and the old Penta sort of coming together and saying, we are the best powerhouse team that Europe has to offer.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen quite that so far in their event performance here, but to say that, against SV, we didn't necessarily expect them to come out, guns blazing, win that 10-5 or something crazy. It's a hard team to go up against as your first match and really take that one away. So I think this is a good chance for them to show us how they truly perform under the pressure of potentially being knocked out of this competition.
Yeah, that's the reality that we've got to deal with here, Blue. One of these teams is going to be eliminated after this. One of these teams has to go up against INTZ in their lower bracket final for Group D. I guess if you have a look at INTZ, whilst I kind of said, maybe that's a team that you can defeat. They took SV to overtime before, so they're no slouches. And Pacific Wara, if they are going to come through today, if they're going to make it out of their groups, they have 2 very difficult games ahead of them.
Yeah, incredibly difficult considering what they're going to have to go up against here. INTZ really went on a run in this event that I think no one really expected for them getting. When you look at their results prior to this one and the fact that they really just made it back into the CFS after 3 years away from it. So they've really surprised everyone with their performance, and it's certainly going to make the final matchup for whoever wins this one very, very difficult indeed, especially for Pacific Wara, who seem to be struggling a little bit based on the result of their opening match.
Yeah, and the opposite of that, obviously, is Execration, the other team from the Philippines. They are playing actually relatively well this week. So I guess for Pacific Wara, they don't want to be the one of the 2 Filipino teams who did worse at CFS 2018.
Yeah, and going into CFS, I actually expected these guys to be the better of the 2, considering the 2 lineups. But I think a lot of it has to do with Pacific Wara has a lot of young talent. I don't think has fully stepped up to the plate just yet, and I think they need a bit more time to develop before they can conquer these big hurdles of teams.
It is definitely tough, and that's, I guess, the nature of both the benefit and maybe something to work through with esports in general is that it's quite accessible to young players. It's not necessarily based on strength and things like that. You don't need to be a big person to play. It doesn't matter. You can be 15 and a small guy, Blue, someone like me before I started eating all my burgers. And, it doesn't matter. If you've got the talent, if you put the work in, you can achieve anything in this sort of game. And I guess this week it's up to Pacific Wara to see what they can do. Have you, after watching their games yesterday, Blue, is there anything that you think Pacific Wara could do differently that might give them a chance up against a team like Penta?
I think potentially using their youngest player like in the front lines a little bit less. I know the role probably dictates towards it, but you're putting him in a very high pressure situation, and he seemed to kind of crumble under it yesterday. Don't get me wrong, that's him right there, by the way. Dags, who definitely was able to show up and have a great performance every once in a while, but they were often putting him in the front. It was relatively hit or miss in that respect. That's one thing I could see them changing up, maybe putting a little bit more of an experienced player in that now that they're going to be under such a high pressure situation.
What about you, Kyle? What are your thoughts?
I think the adjustments really need to come down to these new young players. Actually, I agree with Blue here. Need to be put in positions that are comfortable until they show that they can really have that confidence behind them to put them in the front lines, because they really did sort of struggle to make any sort of high impact plays, and there was really only a few players on this roster of Wara that were coming out and making the plays needed, and neither one was the young talent they have here.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough situation to be in, right? You come in, your biggest tournament of your entire life, so much money in line, so much pressure, and you're the lead fragger trying to come through. They're pushing through the door first, and it definitely makes life tough. In this matchup, Penta up against Pacific Wara. Who do you see coming out on top, Kyle?
I definitely think it's going to be Penta in this situation. They showed us what they're capable of against the likes of SV, only falling just barely, whereas Pacific, they've had a lot of outstanding issues here that haven't necessarily been resolved going into this one, and I think Penta, after the frustration of barely falling to SV, they're going to come back guns blazing, and I think they're going to have a pretty dominating scoreline here.
When you say dominating, I'm going to make you be precise. What are we looking at, 10 to what?
I'm going to go with a 10-5 in favor of Penta.
All right, Kyle's going 10-5 in favor of Penta. Blue, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to go with the same exact thing, actually. I think it's going to be a 10-5 in the favor of Penta. I think the experience we're bringing to the table from Penta is going to be shining through a little bit more. So that, considering as well the very close result that they had against SV yesterday, where they just barely were unable to take them down in that upper bracket matchup. They're out for revenge. They want to be able to move in and take them down, and most importantly, they want to get out of this group. And they're not going to let a team like Pacific Wara stop them.
Yeah, for me, I also have to go with Penta in this situation. I certainly, yesterday, I think it was probably indicative of where Pacific Wara is at, and for me, it's more likely to be like a 10-4 or a 10-3, that sort of thing. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see them come out and really take it to this Penta lineup. No matter who wins, they're going to be going up against INTZ in the lower bracket final for Group D, looking to be the last team out from groups. It's actually the last game of the day heading into tomorrow's quarterfinals. So a lot of pressure for them. No matter who wins this game, a still lot of work to be done. But right now, it's Penta Sports up against Pacific Wara, our last lower bracket round 1 game. Let's get into the action.
All right, well, as you've just heard, it is our last initial lower bracket game. We only had 3 of them, as mind you, one of our teams unfortunately was unable to make it here to CFS 2018, so we're into the last one now, and then we will move forward into the final matchups for the group. Unfortunately, though, this lower bracket match does mean that one team needs to head home, and it'll be either Pacific Wara or the Hope of Europe and Penta. Let's find out who exactly is going to be moving on and who will have to go home early once again.
Starting it off, though, Heck already getting boosted into the A connector here, going to be playing that with an AWM in hand as well. Let's see if he makes use of it. Already doing so, though, takes out Moon right away, and Penta already off to a rough start on this one. Pacific, though, making the best use of their positioning here. Dags going to step up as well, finds one onto Creed's. Niels does manage to trade that one out, though. Penta still in a one-man disadvantage as they move forward towards the speed bomb side attack.
Penta going to the usual route now that we've been seeing a lot of our teams exercise here so far on port today. It's going to be directly inside of the warehouse that they'll take their next move towards. FaZe with the arm in hand as well. Going to be trying to see if he can pick anything off from the window, but not a whole lot showing itself just yet. It's obviously Pacific Wara wanting to play this back and play it past. She's taking a page off the BD book from what we saw in the last game here. Not really trying to take contention at all. This will allow, of course, for Penta to somewhat start to walk right out, but the missed arm shot could cost them that. They're going to jump into the engagement, but no, it's Penta that move in, finding good entries here. Niels, good stuff from him. He's able to pick up a double kill, and we see another frag found, I believe, by FaZe as well. Able to bring down another player for Pacific Wara. It's all on Cram, left alone in the 1v3, now a 1v2. Unfortunately, his position's been locked in. So the armor. FaZe is going to move forward here. He'll be able to trade out the arm for an AK, and he'll be able to shut down the final kill of the round as we do see Penta. Maybe the first point.
And this is what they needed to be scared of on the side of Pacific, where I said the player who needed to step up for Penta to succeed was Niels, and he's already found 3 kills in the opening round, 1 kill off of what he had the entirety of their first match. Snox, though, starts it off big time, opens up with a kill on the Heck. And Penta starting to feel those positive vibes here as they get the early lead they were hoping for, but Mamba does answer back with one of his own. Niels, though, finds himself frag number 4, taking down Dags once again in the B tunnels. Mamba, though, looking to try and answer back. Can't find it. Niels picks up frag number 5, and Penta look ready to attack B once again.
Tearing through the defensive setup here for Pacific Wara. Nice opener coming in from Penta. Cram, though, a great wraparound to be able to knock out Snox. The immediate trade is found by Niels. Now it's all down to Cram, but he's keeping it consistent. Another kill from him. He's brought it down to a 1 versus 2 now. It'd be a 1v4 if he's able to pull it out outright. Let's see if he can do it now. Stuck inside of the warehouse. That's going to be the biggest issue, is working out here. And then getting over to the site is now we've seen the C4 go onto the ground and be flashed out. No push to follow that up from Penta. We do see some other players moving back into safer positions, though. Cram does get the spot out on to Moon, but it will not end up mattering, as Moon will close out, and we'll see Penta quickly claim that second round as well.
You can see the smile there on Niels' face. He knows he's having a better day today, and that's another triple kill round out of him as well, leading the charge on these entry frags for Penta. And they have the momentum now behind them that they've been hoping for to start off this series. Meanwhile, Pacific Wara, things have gone completely wrong in trying to hold off these B bomb site attacks, and they need to readjust how they approach this hold. Right now, though, Penta looking to try and take it, potentially once again, maybe even having Creeds here to throw a late fake, but they're actually going to back off a little bit and reset the situation, maybe wanting to take control of mid or preparing for a late B attack here, but they do give a lot of ground over to Pacific Wara to play with here. But right now, Pacific going to be playing very passive in this situation. The downside being, though, you still have to hit the shots here when it comes down to these site duels for control. And so far, Penta, they've been winning those duels very nicely.
Got Niels making a wrap to the inside. It's going to be held off first up by Pacific Wara. Dags, a good start from him, but there's a trade coming in. Great work from Creeds, finding 2 quick pickups on his own, nearly clearing out the entire site now. Remember, this is all fake. The entire play is going to be working itself over towards the A site, and it's worked perfectly. It's caused the rotate from Pacific Wara. It got the players off the A site. It's going to lead to an easy plan opportunity here for Penta, and it's going to leave only 2 standing on Pacific Wara. One's going to get cut off here by Creeds, or at least should have been. Cram holds his own, but the problem is Cram's now lost his teammate to FaZe, who will knock out both of the remaining players on Pacific Wara.
And right now, Pacific looking shaky once again, having a lot of struggles so far. Penta, though, firing across the board exactly how they need to stay strong in this matchup. Pacific having their work cut out for them. No successful holds so far, and they definitely need to adapt quickly. Otherwise, this could be a nice walk in the park here for the boys on Penta Sports if they keep this momentum on their side. Everyone stepping up to the plate in that last round. Niels didn't find a frag with the rest of his teammates, working wonders across the map. Right now, Pacific, though, looking for that opening to go their way here in round number 4. Still yet to put one on the board, but right now, quick attack here over towards B-Long. It's going to see one frag going their way. Heck gets one, but Niels trades out with a nade frag on the opposing side of the map towards Cram. And once again, the A fake comes through. They pull the players off, and now they have full control of this A bomb site. Niels finds himself a nice double kill entry here to get things started for Penta.
Second time this has worked here now for Penta, so good stuff from them. And they're going to continue to just dominate Pacific Wara in this matchup. Heck, at least with the response kill, brings us down into a 2 versus 3, but there's a lot more work to do for Pacific Wara if they want to get back into this round. Moon, see, we're waiting by the big box just below the site steps. However, Zar doing a nice job, or Zarin, doing nice work to get back onto the site, but it's not going to matter. Moon shutting it all down once again as he picks up a double kill to end the round for Penta.
Pacific still yet to have the response they need here in this situation. Round after round, even when it's down to the wire, they're not able to win a single one here. Penta in full control. Niels leading that charge with a 9-3 scoreline here. Dags, though, finally gets the opener to go the way of Pacific, but still, Penta team, you have to be careful of Creeds. Already finds one as well, taking down Mamba, evening the numbers here. Creeds finds himself another, pushing again, single-handedly taking control of the B-bomb site. He gets a 3rd frag, looking for the 4th. Can't quite make that happen, though. It's still going to be a 2v2 FaZe with the bomb in hand. Now has the opportunity to rotate away and take this one all the way back over towards the A-bomb site.
Similarly to the past runs, though, as you said, they're going to wrap back around over towards A. This time, it's not really their choice, though. It's something they're forced to rotate into. But they move so quickly and so decisively that the guys from Pacific Wara are really going to be none the wiser about this. FaZe will have no problem establishing a position and getting that C4 onto the ground. Moon also rotating in. An uncharacteristic miss from FaZe, though. And it will push one of the members of Pacific Wara back. Moon trying to wrap back around. FaZe, that meanwhile catches Cram, and Moon, a little bit surprised that he spotted him there, but he will be able to move back in on the repeat, take down Zarin, and continue to dominate for Penta.
And now Penta trying to close in on potentially the second 10-0 scoreline we've seen so far here in CFS 2018. Would be quite the way to move forward into the next portion of the lower bracket for them. And definitely a nice boost of confidence as well. But Pacific, it's not over just yet. If they can recover here and now, grab 3 or 4 rounds to close at the half, there's still that potential alive for the comeback to be made as they go into the second half. But they need to step up here and now. Otherwise, this one could surely fall away from them. Penta, though, meanwhile, going for the early A-long control, while Pacific gets a little antsy here over towards the B tunnels. They need to be careful, though. They do have Creeds posted up still over outside of B long here. Faye's going to be joining him as well, playing with a flashbang out in case the push comes through.
Well, this is going to be Penta continuing to make a slow push. Heading a little bit more decisively towards the B site this time. There's more active contention coming out from Pacific Wara. It's Dags way out in the open. Tries to take a battle. It's not going to matter, though. Moon continues to push past that as he finds another kill in this round. Really just wrecking everyone at Pacific Wara at this point. They don't seem to stand a chance in any kind of gunfight. But since there is a lot more active contention, before they even get to the warehouse, they will pull away from this push momentarily just to make sure Pacific Wara don't try anything crazy. It does look like they're recommitting to it relatively quickly, though, instead of wrapping towards A, as they've been doing in previous rounds. Does this mean, though, they're going to run directly into the 3-man setup from Pacific Wara, and they won't have such an easy plant as they've had in previous rounds?
Right now, Pacific, though, still trying to hold on and find their way into just 1 round on the board this half. But that has been exceedingly difficult. But this time around, they finally have some success on the hold. Penta having no way in so far on this B-bomb site execution. Both Creeds and FaZe, they're going to be forced to fall back here and rethink the setup. Right now, the gamble has worked out for Pacific. All 3 players on that B-bomb site, they know Penta loves to attack this situation, but they're hoping they're going to fall off now, and they're going to go for the double fake back into the B-bomb site. 2 players already over-rotated off of the bomb site. It's all on Cram here to hold off this push. Creeds and FaZe doing a great job of selling this, but now Cram, this is his chance to shine here and still pick up this first round. FaZe finds one, though. Creeds and FaZe, can they do it? The 2v3. Creeds finds another. It's down to the 1v2. Heck, with a chance to get the first round on the board. 10 seconds, they plant the bomb, and it's all on Heck here to try and make it happen. Pacific surely not wanting to fall yet again in this 2v3 situation, but now the 1v2 for Heck. It's not going to happen. Creeds and FaZe pull it through, and it's still uncontested. 6 rounds in a row now for Penta.
And you just cannot stop Penta. It doesn't matter the odds you get against them or the strat you try. Penta are absolutely dominating this matchup against Pacific Wara right now. 6-0, and they're going to continue that streak. They're just going to go straight for a run out at long this time. See if they can make their play towards A nice and early. You can hear the calls come out from Pacific Wara, but it may not end up mattering. They've done this plenty of times before. The run-ins here, the spam's coming out from Pacific Wara, but it's not finding enough impact. Dags finding the only real pickup here, but he's already been traded. It's down to only 1 player remaining here for Pacific Wara. Heck, he does some good work, though, to find a double kill, but it would have to be a 1v4 if he wants to pick up this round for his squad and finally get them onto the board.
Not a likely situation to go his way, but he's already found 2 of the 4. But Snox and Moon stand in his way here. He spots one. Brilliant pick there coming out from Heck. It's already down to the 1v1. Could he do it here? A big 1v4 to finally get Pacific on the board, but the 1v1 at the end of the day is all that matters, and it's not going to happen for him. A nice attempt, but not nice enough here. Penta 7 in a row now, closing in on a perfect half.
So close indeed for the guys on Pacific Wara, and most specifically for Heck, as he nearly pulls off a 4v1 on the AWM. So it's just out to the AK, though, towards the end of it, unfortunately, will end up losing. As you mentioned, that last 1v1 battle. Penta pushing ahead, like we said, cannot be stopped at the moment. The near flawless half on their attacking side.
And this is truly what happens when all of these guys are firing across the board on all cylinders here for Penta. Everyone with a positive score, lowest player being at 5-4, which is still a respectable score. If you look across the way to Pacific, things just falling apart completely. Heck, the only one really maintaining any sort of presence across this map. Cram has had a few choice rounds going his way, but overall, it's just not been great for Pacific here, and potentially a 9-0 half. Not what I would expect out of such a high caliber region here, but there's been a lot of surprises today. Obviously, Ava team following earlier in the footsteps here of just letting people down overall on their team and not piecing things together as they needed to on this map of Port. But right now, Pacific, 1 or 2 rounds could start some sort of comeback, but it's not looking too likely considering Penta's performance thus far.
Penta, though, moving a lot more slow than we've seen in previous rounds. It's been a pretty decisive push for them. I think they are worried about Pacific Wara trying to get a tad aggressive against them, and they're right to do that. You can see Cram lurking out towards Long and taking a pretty successful battle. In fact, the double kill at Long from Cram shows up as he's able to knock out Niels and FaZe. The trade is there from Snox to allow for Penta to try and push themselves forward. But Penta don't seem too convinced in going for the push out from Long just yet. They have their position in connector to try and jump out and surprise Heck. But again, not too confident on trying to make that play, considering the Pacific Wara are ready to rotate now at a moment's notice.
Now Pacific look to potentially close out their first round on the board here, 4-on-3 advantage. But as we've seen, that doesn't seem to hold too much weight for them in their favor. Moon already looking to challenge here as Snox picks up Zarin from the mid-bridge. Dags looking for the trade kill. Can't seem to find it just yet. Snox wants to go in anyways here. Dags, can he finally secure this frag here? Snox making it difficult, picks it up. Moon finds Heck, and it's already down to Mamba in a 1v3. He's going to be challenged by Snox, who will ultimately go down to him, but still, a 1-on-3 situation, not looking too likely. Pacific potentially down 8-0 in this one. Mamba stuck now in the back of the global risk spawn.
Yeah, I think Mamba not going to have the easiest route to get himself back over towards the site, but it is only a 1v2, an incredibly winnable situation. Look at that coordination from Penta, though. The double repeat, knocking out McMamba, not giving him a chance in the world to clutch that out with the 2 different angles. And with that, Penta continue to dominate 8-0. Pacific Wara have gone completely absent, the new guy included. The young player, Dags, not finding the impact that I think they were hoping to have by bringing him onto the squad. The pressure maybe getting to him. They're going to take more active contestation towards the warehouse this time. However, one player gets stuck in a corner. Moon's able to move in for the trade, and the second one on the follow-up. Cram moves in from behind, though, but he can only pick up a 1-for-1 as Creed brings it back under his team's control in a 3v2. Zarin's going to try to put it back under the control of Pacific Wara, though, as it's brought back down into an even scenario. And the remaining players from Penta attempt to fall back, but it doesn't work out too well. Heck on the arm is going to be able to find a pick onto Niels. And that brings it all down to FaZe in a 1v2 situation.
FaZe, though, does have control of this bomb, which is going to be a huge implication for this round to play out in his favor still, even though it is a 1-on-2. He just has to be careful to avoid where Heck might be peeking with that AWM in hand. So now he just has to play a very safe corner here. That's exactly what he'll do, just jump spotting here from the back of the spawn, hoping that someone doesn't go for this lane pick on him too early. Heck, though, has that arm in hand, peeks out, but it's going to be FaZe sneaking away there just in time to avoid death to that shot. Now he's just going to be creeping behind, hiding in the smoke. He knows he has time on his side. Only 15 seconds for this defuse to come through. Heck, he's spotted. FaZe, though, can't hit the shot, though. Unfortunate timing there. Zarin will seal the deal, and Pacific, they do end the half at least on somewhat of a high note here, as they do find at least one round out of this one.
Very close on the defuse, only 3 seconds left, so Pacific Wara just barely managed to piece together that final one, and honestly, FaZe seemed to have it on lock, at least from a position perspective. He got the first kill on Heck a little bit quicker. Might have had the time he needed to adjust his aim, pick up the final frag as well. But it won't be happening, and we do finally see a round for Pacific Wara going up onto the board. The only question is it the only round we'll see for them, or is it only a sign of things to come?
I'd say at this point, I mean, Pacific, they had so many chances to get more than just that single round, but every time they looked promising, Penta just took it right back into their hands, and I think Pacific, this may be the end of the road for them here. 10-1, definitely a pretty strong outcome. I think that's going to happen at this point for Penta. I would be surprised to see them lose either of these 2 opening rounds. So right now, it's really Pacific with everything to prove at this point.
It's all smiles on the Penta side of things. Not nearly the case as we take a look at the other side of the arena now. And the Pacific Wara side, happy, I'm sure, that they were able to piece together at least one round at the end of the half. Avoided the perfect 10-0 in the favor of Penta, especially considering this is an elimination match. But now have to bring it back. 7 potential rounds. Not necessarily in a row, but they can really only let Penta get away with 1 more here. Otherwise, it needs to be that perfect streak from Pacific Wara. And even worse off, this is going to be Pacific Wara on attacking side now, too. They need to do the same thing. It's going to lead us into a quick battle. The players from Penta trying to get into the action early on. FaZe specifically already finding one to take out Zarin. He did lose his teammate in the process, though, Snox, but it won't matter as long as FaZe can continue to pick up these frags. He's been able to knock out Cram as well. Put his team into what is now a 3v3 with Heck finding a trade. FaZe, though, runs right into McMamba. And it's now Pacific Wara that have the advantage in a 3 versus 2.
Still a tough situation as they have no opening onto either bomb site. And Niels, he's going to close in on this long A position. Meanwhile, Creeds, he's creeping up B as well, and he's going to hold it off all on his own. Finds the first, but can't find the second. Almost takes down Mamba there, but Niels is already hot on their tail, trying to get behind them on this B flank. The bomb will have time to go down, though. Niels, we'll see if he can step up and win this one in a 1v2 and take Penta forward to match point. But Pacific, they need this to keep the dream alive, and Heck will find it there. Second round now on the board, but still 2-8. A long road for recovery here.
6 more rounds needed just to tie it up. That's if they want to win it in regulation time here. For Penta, finally a little bit of instability, but really only because of their own doing, because they play so aggressively at the beginning of this round. If they pulled it back, they can more than likely still maintain decent control over the round and force Pacific Wara into going for another low-timed execute. Smokes are actually going to be deployed early at mid by both teams here. Allows for Penta to try and push themselves forward a little bit more. Once again, we'll primarily see that in the connector, just in the event the Pacific Wara want to try to work their way out towards long.
Now we do see Penta playing a bit more reserved. They know last round they got a little too aggressive, and they got punished for doing so. Right now, though, Penta just 2 rounds away from victory. They're just going to anchor down and try and win this one out here. Potential 10-2 scoreline, but Pacific having a good opening round of the half, but a lot more work left to be done to make this win a reality. 6 in a row just to tie it here. Mamba gets the opener, but FaZe already there to trade it.
FaZe seems to be the master of trades, although this time he's only going to get one. Immediately knocked it afterwards. Zarin finding some nice work to keep his team in control over towards A. The flash will restrict him for a moment. The deaths have restricted Penta from trying to move in for a retake. They've got it down into a 2 versus 4, with Zarin, of course, being incredibly low. Just the amount of positioning that Pacific Wara can cover compared to Penta, though, is certainly going to make this very difficult, considering the limited options Penta have for this retake. They're stuck behind the big silo over towards their spawn. Trying to play in any different angles here, but it's not giving them a whole lot of options. Moon with a good start at minimum. Creeds is taking damage elsewhere, though. He's down to just about half HP. Moon ready to move back in. Does get the spot on the Cram. Will take a lot of damage from the exchange, but Creeds helps him out. Moves in for the pick on Cram. Another one found by Creed, and there you go. It's going to be Penta moving up with another round. A great retake and another 2v4 from them as they bring it back and get themselves up onto map and match point.
Now Pacific, this could be the end of the road here. They need 7 in a row just to take it into overtime and still have the risk of losing there. But surely Penta's earned the right to close this one out at this point, having so much success across the entirety of this matchup. But Heck continues to try and keep the dream alive here for his team. Finds a nice pick there on the Niels to get things started on this round. But the rest of his team has to step up as well in order to make this comeback happen. Penta, though, still numbers down, doesn't seem to phase them at all. So we do jump into this potential end round here. Pacific, though, fighting for their survival at this point. They could be the 3rd team to go down and out if they don't recover.
Let's see Pacific Wara again trying to buy their time a little bit here now that they've already got that 1 entry in their favor. Oof. They've lost it, however, as we see the trade come out from FaZe at the mid doorway once again. He's been strong in finding these trades constantly. In fact, I think he's done it in every single attacking round so far here on Pacific Wara's attacking side. So once again, bring the numbers down into a 4 versus 4. And there's no immediate sign of a response coming in from Pacific Wara. They are still moving in to try and maintain mid control, however, which might eventually challenge FaZe over these next couple of seconds. He's just seen them. Saw a second player, too. A different one that he takes a shot at. It's over to his Deagle, though. Nice follow-up from him to knock out McMamba. They'll even push forward further into mid to try and hold off the angle and prevent Pacific Wara from taking control. Problem is, he gets wallbanged on the way out. It's going to be Dags taking him down and putting us into a 3 versus 3.
Now it looks like they are going to try and rotate this bomb slowly over towards the B bomb site. Creeds, though, going to be the one anchoring this down, but Moon going to be playing close for the rotation as well. They've caught on that this may be happening, but they are going to double back here over towards A now. Pacific looking for an opening to try and attack, but Snox playing so patiently behind the A long box, waiting to see if they'll check this corner. Dags, though, he has to check it. Otherwise, this could be it here. But Snox, he's going to go down, not able to quite connect on the shot. Moon finds one from the cross pick, though, on Bridge. It's going to be down to a 2v2. Both remaining players very low. That nade could do it here. Dags goes down to the nade across the map there, and it's Zarin all alone in a 1v2. Penta surely in position to win this. The bomb yet to be planted. There's only 10 seconds. He has to go in here and now. Otherwise, it's all going to be over. 8 seconds. Zarin, he has no time. He has to get this bomb down immediately. Now the plant time is going to be, he has no time. It's just over. Penta, they're going to win it based on the time. Penta, they're going to take it.
And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Penta, one of our European hopefuls, will be able to take control of this matchup in definitive fashion. 10-2, I believe, is the final score. And they will push forward, knocking their opponents out of the event as our 2nd team to go home. For Pacific Wara, it was a hopeful story of some young players trying to step up to the plate on the world stage, but it will not be the case this time. Penta will come out on top and continue to trudge forward for Europe.
Yeah, impressive work coming out from Penta. Really quite. And in 2, a very imposing score, I suppose. And instead, they're going to be heading through, continuing their journey through the lower bracket up against INTZ a little bit later on today, as we do see the guys from Penta ready to take a bow here in the arena. It's been an interesting couple of days for them, for sure. But I think they'll be happy to get that victory across the board there. In the end, continue their journey and hopefully continue their chances here at CFS 2018. For Pacific Wara, though, Kyle, we're going to have to say goodbye to them. But at the end of the day, it was a very difficult group. Jordan called Group D the group of doom because it wasn't the group of death, because that was Group C. But I think we can probably agree it was a tough run.
Yeah, I'd say it was probably the second hardest group of them all, and really Pacific Wara, they just had a tough time, and I think it was a good learning experience, though, for some of this young talent as a first event for some of these guys at the international stage. They still showed some good signs. I think they just need to go back to the drawing board and be able to do a little bit more in their future events to play against these top caliber teams.
Yeah, I think, Blue, it's difficult to overstate just how important being able to come to a competition like this is. Not only is it the experience of playing on this stage, not is it only the pressure, but the ability to come across, and these guys have been screaming downstairs all week long. They've had a chance to play against some of the other best teams in the world, even if they're not up against them on stage. There's so much to gain out of being here.
It's one of those great opportunities to get some, not only like cross-regional matchups to try and test out your strats against other regions that you might not always get to play against, but it's on land as well, right? Which is always going to be the final battleground for these sorts of things. So you really get to have a good training ground to try out some new things, maybe to redefine some of your older strats as well, and make sure that what you're doing is being done correctly.
Yeah, it's very difficult to put a value on just how important this is and how much these teams can gain from being here, particularly if they haven't had a shot to be here before. So Pacific Wara, they will head back to the Philippines. As we take a look at our MVP Moon, look at that, 16-5. It's hard to go against him there, and plus he's such a handsome young man as well. I'm sure there's fangirls all around the world cheering him on.
Yeah, I think between Moon and Niels, they had such great performances in this game that it's going to be really hard for them to sort of top that moving forward, but they have a lot of confidence behind them now, I'm sure, recovering from that loss to SV, and I think they're going to be in a great position now to move forward.
It's a good place to be in for sure, going up against INTZ a little bit later on today. We have 4 matches left, our lower bracket finals. Flipside up against Kauai. That's going to be a rematch of what we saw earlier on. Rue Legends versus Boss. Execration up against Black Dragons. And finally, as we said, INTZ up against Penta Sports. We're going to take a very quick break, and when we come back, those lower bracket finals will be here right after this.